Carpet bombing and indiscriminate bombing is not a recent phenomenon. This has been going on for the last 15 years or so. I lived, in fact, in Jaffna when the most severe bombings took place between the year 1990 to 96. The bombing of the Nawali church, for example, 9 cluster bombs were dropped and more than 120 people died. Then there were about 4 or 5 bombs dropped over Nagarkoil school, and about 40 children got killed. And government has been resorting to this as a policy. That's what we have to understand. I remember in the 80s when J.R. Jayawardena openly said, we will try to catch the fish, meaning the militants. If not, we will poison the sea. So what is happening? Actually, this is a policy statement. So what the present government is doing is to implement that kind of policy which is at the, which is there. Lalit Mudali spoke about it when he was defense minister, and he said, we'll flatten the whole of Jaffna, and you can see the entire Jaffna from Elephant Pass. He said that once. So that kind of attitude is there.
Well, I think the government, if anything, is alienating the people. Not that they already haven't been alienated, but I think even more. And if anything, it's confirming what most people have believed about the government, right? Because what's happening right now, and unfortunately the Western media hasn't picked up on it, is really the government killing its own people. I mean, that's really what's happening. And if anything, the people who already feel disenfranchised, who already feel that they don't belong within that state structure, are probably more resolved to say that we will not put up with this and we won't tolerate this type of nonsense. Unfortunately, it's tragic, right? Because people are losing their lives, people are forced to move, people are forced to move again and again, because many of these people moved in 1995. This is 12, 13 years later, they have to do the same type of a move.
It cannot be targeting the Tamil type of fighters as it claims it does, because it has already established that it is capable of superior methods for doing so. So why then would a government order a segment of its own civilians bombed into oblivion by claiming to liberate them?
This kind of situation and the misery is simply because of the resistance. And so long as they continue to resist, they will be attacked, and they will become refugees, and they will have no one else to look after them. In other words, in any kind of counterinsurgency, the government think that the only way is to eliminate the population. That means if you can't catch the fish, you can try and drain the water. So there, you lose the water and you lose the fish, right? So if you can catch the resistance, if you can catch the gorillas, then they think that the only way is to eliminate the civilian population, thereby denying the base for gorillas. So that is the strategy they are currently pursuing. That making every single Tamil that lives in that part of the world, you kick them out or you kill them. So this is a kind of a scorched policy, and that will never going to work.
Is it trying to tell these people does not care about their life and limb, let alone their freedom and rights?
I would say it's a definite, clear message that that the government is not interested in the welfare of the Tamil people.
තම ජීවිත පවා පරදුවට තබමින් මේ රණවිරුවන් මේ අහිංසක ජනතාව නිදහස් කර ගැනීමේ මෙහෙයුමේ නිරත වනවා. වයස අවුරුදු 13 සිට 35 දක්වා අය අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම LTTට බැඳී සටන් කළ යුතු බවට LTT ත්‍රස්තවාදීන් නියෝග කර ඇතැයි මෙසේ පැමිණෙන ජනතාව සඳහන් කරනවා. වයස අවුරුදු 35 ඉක්ම වූ අය ත්‍රස්ත කඳවුරුවල බංකර් සෑදීම වැනි කටයුතු වල නිරත විය යුතුයි. ත්‍රස්ත කටයුතු වලට එරෙහි වන අයට LTT දැඩි ලෙස දඬුවම් කරන බවද ත්‍රස්ත ග්‍රහණයෙන් මිදී පැමිණි පිරිස සඳහන් කරනවා. ත්‍රස්තවාදීන් අහිංසක දෙමළ ජනතාවට එසේ සැලකුවද ත්‍රස්ත ග්‍රහණයෙන් මිදී රණවිරුවන් සමීපයට පැමිණෙන ඕනෑම කෙනෙකුට ප්‍රථමයෙන්ම සිදු කෙරෙන්නේ ආහාරයෙන් සංග්‍රහ කිරීමයි. රණවිරුවන් සමීපයට පැමිණෙන ජනතාව LTT ත්‍රස්ත ක්‍රියා පිළිබඳ විවිධ තොරතුරු හෙළි කරනවා. එසේ සිදු කරන්නේ ත්‍රස්තවාදීන් පිළිබඳ පවතින දැඩි කලකිරීමෙන් යුතුවයි.
right now the Sri Lankan government does have control and the ability to allow food and medical supplies, which are essential. Those are basic human rights that you're entitled to shelter.
මමත් ආසාවෙන් හිටියා ඉස්කෝලේ ගිහිල්ලා හොඳට ඉගෙන ගන්න. ඒත් LTT එකෙන් අපි වගේ අය යුද්ධයට අරන් යන නිසා මාව ගෙදරින් එළියට යවන්න අම්මලා කැමති වුණා. ඒ නිසා මම වගේ ගොඩක් අයට ඉගෙන ගන්න අවස්ථාවක් ලැබුණේ නැහැ.
That we don't respect your life, we don't respect your community.
It takes place it has to be seen from three different angles. The first one is in the entire South Asia, Sri Lanka is the only country that does not absolutely care about killing its own citizens, whom they call their citizens. But the fact is, for them, Tamils are not the real citizens, and therefore they are to be subjugated, and they are to be brought under their control, and to show that it's a singular state, and this does not require any research or any proof additionally. The fact is, this is an affirmation of a singular militancy and a singular Buddhist militancy. And for example, yesterday I think a Buddhist monk made a statement saying that the present president is doing very well because this is the way one has to fight the war, just indiscriminate, merciless kind of bombing, and that's what the government is resorting to. Secondly, they constantly go for the best of technology. It is true that they have today the best of weapons to identify targets in terms of sonar technology, in terms of the kind of unmanned aerial vehicles that they have. With all that, if they want to, they know where the camps are, and they could do it also, and they have done it. But the fact of choosing to bomb centers of civilian population, and particularly centers where civilians are very thickly populated or intensely populated, is to destroy them and to reduce the numbers. The demographic change has been part of the government policy also. Demographic changes can take place in a planned way in various forms. One is by forced settlements, as they are doing it in Trincomalee, in the southern part of Hambantota and Pottuville, in Ampara, and several areas in Batticaloa, for example, where this has been one of the bones of contention from the beginning. For the past 50 years, when they have been encroaching Tamil areas and lands and have been settling people, the Sinhalese people there, and very often they take ex-convicts or army deserters. In other words, people who are settled there are not only forced to settle down there, but are armed also. And this is another way of intimidating the civilian population. Now, changing the demographic pattern in some other form is to destroy them. As the government policy always has been, either it is by assimilation or by annihilation.
They say that what we learn from history is that we learn nothing from history. So the government thinks that the majority of the Sinhala population is supporting them, and then they are supporting this war against the Tamils, and the government thinks that is winning the war, and the government also thinks that by militarily defeating the LTT and killing large number of Tamils, that they can be successful in imposing whatever they think is the correct and just solution to the Tamil national question. That means there won't be any solution, that the Tamils will become and will continue to be the second-class citizens of that country. And that is the idea. But unfortunately, that the international community, and including the government of India and a couple of other countries, that they simply want the government to win militarily in the current scenario, and and they can continue with the different kind of agenda. But my feeling is that as long as the population is very solid and stand by their demand, that is a just demand, and if the we have witnessed and we have we have suffered for a long time, and then and the population has never given up on this on the demand for a just and equitable solution, and I don't think they're going to give it up. So in that sense, whoever expects a military victory for the government of Sri Lanka, or whoever expects that the Tamil people can be suppressed, are mistaken. So it is really going to backfire, and that is for sure.